First guest this morning has a special story. In fact, he was too young for Vietnam. He is too young for Vietnam, too old for the Gulf War. But he has written a book called Blessed Are the Peacekeepers, and it's all about his work training police in Iraq. And his story is bittersweet, however. The East Haven police officer ended up losing his job when he traveled to the Middle East. And later, you lost your marriage as well. But you're saying that because you served your country, it was well worth it. And you're also saying, you were just telling me a moment ago, that this is something not unique. This has happened to a lot of police officers who've gone to Iraq or to other places overseas to help in that kind of training. So tell us a bit about how you came to go to Iraq.
Well, the President of the United States asked for police officers to go help out in Iraq because he wanted civilian cops to train the civilian Iraqi police department and police force. So the military is not really set up to do that except for MPs. So we went over there, we volunteered, we got accepted. But the law didn't provide for us to save our jobs for us when we got done with the mission.
And that's ironic to me, and really kind of an eye-opener too, is to think that the government here is asking for your help and from so many others, and yet your very own bosses aren't protecting your job. Why did you lose your job?
Well, the administration didn't feel at the time, at the last minute, that they wanted to let me go. So they decided not to. Well, I was already accepted in the program. I was honored to be accepted, so I left anyway, so I retired.
Wow, okay.
And I didn't think it was right to be forced to retire, so I went to some legislators and knocked on some doors. They said, we need something to protect these people.
How has that worked out so far?
They passed a law in Connecticut that now states if a police officer volunteers for a peacekeeping mission sanctioned by the government, we'll get our jobs back upon our return. The only difficult with that is it's only in Connecticut.
Okay.
And I'd like to see it throughout the nation.
And let's come back on that in a moment, but you also, of course, you were over there. How long were you over there?
1 year.
1 year. And what was it like training? And I know you have some pictures here to talk about as well.
It was very discouraging at times. It was very uplifting at times. It was nice to get meet the Iraqi people personally, because all you see over here is how terrible they are.
And what are we seeing here? I mean, goodness, look at this scene here.
Well, this was a common occurrence. When we first got there, they put us in Chevy Tahoes, and they were always getting blown up by roadside bombs because the Americans were the only ones driving Chevy Tahoes.
Oh, boy.
So it didn't work out real well at the beginning.
Yeah, an easy target there. A recent uptick, and by the way, this picture here.
That is the main mosque over there, where that green statue that was there, that was where Saddam's statue was pulled down.
Oh,
and a peace statue was put up in its place.
Okay, and some of these people...
These I brought, I always carried stuffed animals and dolls for the kids. So when I met them in the streets, I would give them a doll.
You're a good cop.
Oh, thanks.
May I say. All right, now, there has been a recent uptick in the violence back in Iraq. So some are saying that the country is on the verge of civil war again. And the question many are asking is, was it worth it for the U.S. to go in the first place? We still have troops over there.
Well, I feel it's worth it if you're going to stick it out. Let's finish the mission.
Yeah. Not half-baked, right?
Right, let's finish it.
And that's an interesting dichotomy, too, because a lot of times people will say, well, if you don't agree with the war, then why are you there? And we're not saying whether you do or you didn't, but it's about what?
Well, it's not about whether my country's reasons for going over there are righteous or just. It's the men on the ground. I'm there to help the boots on the ground. I'm not there to judge whether politically it's right to be there or not.
All right. Now let's talk a bit more about this problem that you're having. And actually, with regard to police officers, at least in other states, still can lose their jobs if they go to serve even in a government-sanctioned role. And your book, Blessed Are the Peacekeepers, you have self-funded the publishing of this book, self-published. Talk about that a bit.
Well, I had to take out a loan to do that, which I'm still paying on. I was hoping that a publisher would pick it up, but that hasn't happened. But so the important thing was to get the word out.
So clearly, yeah, I was going to say, because you're not doing this for the money, per se.
No, obviously not, no.
Right. So how's the fight going in other states to get this? Because you said it's only in Connecticut that law has been passed. What's happening?
In other states, I couldn't tell you. I have no idea.
Okay. So if there's a publisher who wants to pick up this book and publish it to get that word out, you'd be more than happy to talk with them, I'm sure.
Oh, sure.
Right. So whom do you blame? I mean, is this just a local police department? Was East Haven where you worked? Was it a local police department, or is this something of a larger issue?
I think it's a large issue, but I think with my situation, it was the administration at the time. We didn't have the same patriotic views at the time that I left, because I know for a fact in Danbury, his police officer was honored and he was on the same plane I was.
Isn't that interesting?
And when he came back on the same plane, his mayor was there waiting for him.
They say all politics is local, but maybe that shouldn't be the case. I mean, so it could be just one commissioner or maybe one mayor or whoever,
Correct,
governing body in a town or city that can be making that making that decision based on somewhat maybe their own political views?
Absolutely.
Wow, okay. So this is an eye-opener. And Bob Nappe, really appreciate you coming in and sharing this information, this story, and we certainly wish you luck, as well as so many others who have worked to serve. And thank you for serving all of us.
Thank you.
Sure appreciate it. All right. And for more information, especially if you're a publisher or you know one who wants to pick up this book, guess what? You can go to WTNH.com, click the on-air tab, and pull down to the Good Morning Connecticut Weekend section.